This is WIKISPEED LRW, March the 6th, 2025. And go ahead, David.
Yes, the report on the week, right?
Yeah, what you did in the last week.
Okay. You familiar with the X Prize?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I submitted a proposal for an X Prize project.
Wow.
Um, it's a thermally rechargeable flow battery.
Oh,
If you're familiar with flow batteries.
uh, yeah, let's talk about it in crosstalk. So yeah, it sounds interesting.
Okay, and I also did some work trying to promote my inventors group that I'm trying to form uh, here in the Volusia County area, mostly by looking up every Facebook group that had anything to do with in Volusia County that had anything to do with meetings or clubs or announcements or business or anything, and then posting it on there. Links to both the I also set up a Facebook page for the group before I just had the meetup. So basically, I've been promoting that. Other than that, the week has been kind of slow for me.
Okay, coming week.
Um, I'm hoping to do some more work to get the inventors group going. In particular, I'm going to look into where we can hold the meetings, probably at some public library or something that has a conference room or something like that. Um, and well, let's see, work on that patent that I was mentioned that I wanted to set the preliminary patent and submit it to a manufacturer. And if I have any more free time, there's always working on my tricorder book, um, plus all the fun life type things. You know, trying to take care of the pool and cut the lawn and get some exercise and the whole bit. So I have quite a oh I do have two doctors. Well, I'll get into that in blocks there.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, blocks. Blocks.
Well, let's see. I have two doctor's appointments Tuesday and Wednesday, so those will take up a good deal of my time. Um, Probably getting to be time to cut the lawn. Um, I don't know if I'll run into any problems with the patenting process or anything in here to that. I've done it once before, but I don't know. And and I also don't know about how it will go with the libraries. I did manage to dig up my library card. It took me about half an hour to do that.
Right.
Found out you need a library card to hold a meeting in the library. Um, so the blocks are just the usual, having a million other things to do.
Right. Okay. All right. That was Lauren Salter, uh, Salish Island in the Salish Sea, British Columbia. And past week, I actually was out running and I thought about our project and I touched base with Michael and we were going to talk about that today, but we'll probably do it during the week. And what came to me was that we a block. So I'll talk about the block in the blocks. But I thought about stuff. I um took my one of my SD cards to a Linux meeting. I was going to try and do it, but the Wi-Fi wasn't good enough. Or rather, the Wi-Fi was sketchy for part of the meeting. Although the meeting was good, we had someone who hadn't showed up in a long time and had lots to talk about it, good food and everything. Uh, and uh, so I took my SD card, but now I just took it out of my bag and put it back in the computer. And today I'm planning to work on it. So coming week, including today, I'm going to try the Raspberry Pi Imager once more to see if it'll work from the get-go rather than troubleshooting. So I'm doing both. I'm trying another SD card, downloading the Imager and seeing if it'll just work. Because the idea is you stick it in the Pi, and the Pi is on your network, and you can SSH in, you can remotely go in, and you don't need to mess around with keyboards and screens to diagnose why it's not connecting. So I'm going to try that again, and with a little bit more work, and that's coming week.
You clarify for me, which project is this?
Yeah, this is like the Little Red Wagon.
Okay.
Follow me anything. So anything from we're working on really interesting applications. Like I run, so this is to carry my sweatshirt and my water when I'm running, and it keeps up with me. So I want a wagon that'll keep up with me while I run.
Okay.
And it just has to follow me. So and so now I'll get to the block. The block I came up with was the robot operating system that we've been talking about is overkill. It does everything. It's built to have an autonomous car run on it. And so it can map, it can integrate multiple sensors like LiDAR and infrared and a camera and a depth camera. It'll integrate all of it does everything. But the learning curve has been tough. The people who talk about it on YouTube have had decades, it sounds like, and part of it is kind of simulations, because what they do is, and this is a neat factor of robot operating system, is that there's an attached, there are probably more than one attached simulation environment. So you can simulate your robot and program it, and then you can try it with the real robot in real life. And they do demonstrations of that. But it's not there. I've been saying this for a while. It is still extremely technical. It's like Linux, trying to do Linux by yourself in the 90s when it first was available. Now, anybody can download it and install it. But back then it was you had to be technical. You had to know how to answer a whole bunch of questions. And so I thought about the project, and I pitched this to Michael. I'm going to talk that in crosstalk. But I sent a little short email, which I'll put in the chat or maybe email to you, your preference. And
email would be better.
Yeah, email is better for me too. I hate having to capture the chat. But anyway, so I just outlined that what we need this thing to do is so simple that we can just program it, and it could be a Arduino or we've got a Raspberry Pi, so we'll probably do it with Raspberry Pi, but it's not a really complicated thing, and it's a separate thing. We both want to learn robot operating system, but it's a separate thing from getting this project done, because Michael designed a level detector he talked about in the tank, and that was done in a matter of a few months, and it worked.
Level detector?
Yeah, it's I have a cistern with water. He has a tank with waste at his cottage where they're not allowed to have a septic. So we both have a need to know when a tank is getting full, aside of going and knocking on it, which is pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
And so and he designed it and tested it, and it worked. And I built one, no problem, that also seems to work, although I haven't installed it. So I thought, why isn't this other project going as quickly? Because it's not a lot more complex. It's got two elements: measure the distance and find what to follow. Measure the distance, basically a ball follower or something that can follow something. So yeah, I pitched that, and I'll tell you about it in crosstalk. But that's kind of what I did. And what I plan to do is fill that in and carry on with the technical aspects of the SD card for the Pi, getting it with the version of Ubuntu we want that does do robot operating system, but we may revisit that as part of this rethinking. And blocks, the block, I covered the block. The block was we
It's too
probably
complicated.
overkill. We were using a software that's overkill. It can do any kind of robotic thing in the world, and it's too much. So I was going to end the recording now, and then we can do crosstalk. I wouldn't mind.
I'll mention that my book on automating the aquaponics does have a chapter on level detection.
Oh, cool.
I think I mentioned maybe 3 or 4 ways you can, at the very least tell when something is full.
Right.
And some ways that actually tell you the level.
Yeah. I ran into the other person on the water committee for the community garden, and we're going to have a meeting soon. So I've got it on my tasks for the coming week to do a first look at your book and communicate with him and plan to have a meeting before we start planting in up here. It's May. Well, no, this is it never freezes here, almost never freezes. So actually we're probably people are starting to plant now. So yeah,
I just thought I'd mention that if you were still having trouble with the level detector there.
Yeah, the level detector is not for the gardening. That was for that's just for my water supply for my house.
Yeah, but I just meant that you could reference that chapter of the book to do that.
Yeah,
it's any help to you there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, okay.
In hydroponics, you've got to make sure your water level, the water doesn't evaporate or go too low or too high or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think that'd be interesting to talk and share about.
Also, there are these radar-based human detectors that you can get that are not too expensive. I don't know what system you're using with this follow me wagon, but I mean that's one possible sensor you could add to it to point it off in an angle or something and see if you've gone off to the side or something like that.
Tell me more about human radar detectors.
Well, it's just a small component that sends out radar waves, and it's tuned to be particularly reflective off of human bodies.
Oh, really? That solves a big problem. That solves a big problem.
Yeah, that's one way to detect. I actually built a kind of threw together for a maker meeting, the Maker Fair, a follow me robot that used sonar detectors. And the only problem with that is it can't distinguish between a person and a wall or something.
Right.
But given a person an empty room or something, you can follow them around. But the human radar detectors, just a component. You can probably do a web search for on maybe AliExpress or Amazon or no, not you.
Yeah, okay, it came up.
Yeah,
I see it.
Cancel. Yeah, my what responded when I said who.
Yeah, okay. I see some ads for it. Wave sensor, Zigbee human presence detector. Very cool. Especially useful for AI, so they distinguish between people and other things. Okay, yeah, I'll put that in our thing. And Did I invite you to Discord, our Discord channel? I think we lost David. So while I'm waiting for David, I'm going to send him a chat. Oh, I'm going to pause this recording. See if David comes back.
I got the fact that I got the proposal submitted for the X Prize contest and got some work done on the inventor group. And by the way, a couple more people have joined the group. I guess is enough to give myself at least a 7, maybe an 8.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to give myself an 8 and the team 10 because we exist and
Yeah.
uh no process improvement at the moment beyond what we're already doing. So I'm going to end the recording so I kind of capture that.